Hey guys, welcome back to Zergling Round-Up. This is episode 6 where we're taking a look at the Korean turned foreigner. His name, guys, is Type Phoenix. He doesn't have any nicknames, which is kind of unfortunate. A lot of Korean players have nicknames and they give them to foreign players as well. But c'est la vie, I suppose, is the expression. Such is life. I will be moving on. In any case, this map is going to be taking place on Daybreak. Here on the top right-hand side of Daybreak, we have in the blue Protoss Trunks, TSLs, and Nori. On the bottom left-hand side, we've got Type Phoenix in the pink Zerg Trunks. And we're off. So we've seen each player attempt an all-in, and neither was successful. So far, in this best of 3, we've got 1-1, both of which are the results of the opponent all-inning. So, you can almost bet your bottom dollar this is going to be a macro game. But I've said it each game so far, so don't hold me to it. Who knows? Who knows? There's no telling, guys. We have a total of 2 viewers on the live stream right now. It is 6 a.m., 5 a.m., something like that. I'm not really sure. So either way, I'm very happy that we've got even that many. This show's definitely known more for its archive, so it's all good. But if you're not familiar with that, blip.tv/theonlyshaft, of course, you're probably watching it there if this isn't the live stream. So in any case, we've got a Nexus first, followed by Forge, pretty early Gateway, in fact, even before the cannon. Really strong play here from Nori. We're seeing all the signs of a macro game. We even see him trying to go ahead and patrol block with this probe, the third that he knows is coming. So here's a couple of lings just doing some scouting. He's probably worried about those pesky pylons. Of course, he is also going to go clear his third from a pylon or a probe, depending upon if there's anything there. So, in case you guys weren't here at the beginning, Phoenix. He is one of the first, he actually is the first Korean to join a foreign team. He does so because it will loot his pockets. He says he wasn't making enough money in Korea. Korea is only a one-horse town, one-pony town. There's one show, that is the GSL, one tournament, that is the GSL. And, you know, in Europe, in America, we've got the MLG, we've got DreamHack, we've got IPL, we've got a lot of other tournaments that I'm not even mentioning, Attack. There's numerous, so there's a lot of possible paydays here outside of Korea, and he wants in on those. Pretty fair. Can't really blame him for it either. If you're trying to do this professionally, you got to go where the money is, and it's not greed, it's common sense. So here we go. This is the first zealot out onto the map, with both players playing very macro-oriented, but there's no telling. Okay, here we go. This is the 6-minute or so double extractor, 5:57-ish to be closer, but not exact, because I'm not good with time apparently. There is a Stargate being produced as well. Some gateways. We've got the warp gate. So this is looking like it's going to be a single Stargate build, which is going to allow him to apply a little bit of harassment, get map control, and then do some kind of timing attack with gateways, or in this world of Protoss 2-base timings, he may do the unexpected and go for a third base using the cover of Stargate and a little bit of gateway harassment. But as quickly as he's building these gateways, and there's only 4 gateways though. I don't know, guys. This is a hard one to read right here. It could go either way. Maybe he's doing that intentionally. This probe, of course, is going to lay down a pylon. This again is not telling us whether he's committing to this or just applying a little bit of pressure. we'll see. We will see. Some upgrades being chronoed out. I like that a lot, but here's a little bit of engagement here. These Zealots are in a really good position. The surface area is reduced on them quite a bit, but there are way too many lings. The pylon is getting knocked down. The probe has already gotten out of there. The Zealots have been dealt with. Oh, here's the probe, and there's a pylon. So, is that visible? Yeah, it is, but he's not really paying attention. He did pull those those Zerglings for a little bit too long. That was allowed some Zealots to be morphed in, and that is not good for Phoenix. There's way too much out here on the map right now. He does not have control of Zelnaga Towers. There's this pylon right here that's going to get cleaned up, but he didn't clean this pylon up because of these Zealots. This Void Ray is going to come out, which the Queens are going to be required for the Void Ray. The Zealots, of course, targeting down the Queens. That's going to make this Void Ray even more powerful. The Queen goes down. We've got another Queen coming down, and yep, he's pulling down this Queen too. He did not connect that with Creep though, which is going to prove to be a mistake. It takes forever for a Queen to run off Creep. Roach is being morphed in though, and that's going to make these Zealots a little bit easier to clean up. Of course, Void Rays do extremely well against Roaches. We do not see a third being laid down, and this would be the approximate timing thereof. There's a 9 Harvester lead for our Zerg, so no matter what, the Zerg is still in the lead, especially now that he's on 3 base. Not looking good for TSL Anori. So, remember I said about 55 Harvesters is where the Zerg wants to be while the Protoss is on 2 bases? Well, he's there. So now he's just going to get some upgrades, go ahead and lay down Spore Crawlers, get his static defense up, get himself completely and utterly safe against anything the Protoss can throw at him, and then he can feel free to take another base, or maybe even choose a different tech. So we've got this little Roach Ling force right here at the front. He's going to, well, I mean, he knows that the cannon's there, but he doesn't know what's behind the cannons. There could be sentries, there could be force fields, there could be immortals. There's all of the above. Over here, well, okay, yeah, those are the Void Rays causing that little blitz spike. And here we go. We've got some harassment going on for both players. Actually, I missed that. Let's see if he poked in there or just decided to go home. I'm very curious to see. Okay, he is going to go ahead and poke in. Those Zealots, he sees the force fields, he sees the Immortal. Once he sees that Immortal, the force fields he could have dealt with. They eventually run out. He could have targeted down the cannon right there, but the Immortal, of course, makes that impossible. This Phoenix just holding map control. He's going to go ahead and clear the watchtower. That's going to allow these force field, these sentries to target it down. Roaches are on the map though. There's a lot of Void Rays on the map. Immortals, Stalkers, Sentries. Pretty much everything you could ask for as far as anti-roach goes, but glial reconstitution is also on the way, as well as metabolic boost just now being started. A Spire is halfway through. The Spire, of course, is a reaction to knowing that there's a robo facility up, which of course he knows because of the Immortals. So he has to assume that the Stargate was there to force Hydra, which he didn't go for, and he's metagaming the metagame and going for this Mutalisk play. I really like the Queen usage here. He's hitting transfuses spot on. That's allowing these Void Rays to be targeted down very, very easily, and of course hugging his Roaches to the Protoss army like we've seen so often from him. That's allowing his surface area DPS to be increased to the max. And of course, a little bit of overextending there, so Anori pushing him back. This Overlord, of course, going to be killed. But we do have a 50 supply lead for a Zerg player who is floating a lot of minerals. He could even consider throwing down a lot of lings. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any kind of macro hatch, so his production right now is what's really falling behind. So is Blue's, however, and Blue does not have a third base. So Anori is actually in what is looking to be a semi all-in position. Just it will come down to whether he chooses to get a third and if he can establish it successfully. But he's not aware right now that mutalisks are threatening his position. He has not scouted this. No scouting whatsoever the mutalisks. And that's actually really, really, really horrible for him, because this third would go down against pure roachling. I mean, he's going to have to delay it a little bit, as we're seeing perhaps occur right here. Here we go, some kind of engagement. Ling's trying to get up this ramp, not really working. The destructible debris, of course, he is knocking down to increase how much units he could get up and the amount of force fields that would be required. He is scouting that this third is potentially being attacked, and I want to pause it right here just to reiterate a couple of things to you guys. The 2-base timing attack that we saw earlier, the Zerg defended. As soon as he defended that, he knew the Protoss has 2 options. In fact, the Protoss could do both if he wants to. But there's getting a third, and there's getting Colossi. And when the Zerg player knows this, he knows he needs to stop the third and start trading armies, even if it's inefficient, so that there's not a lot of units on the field when the Colossi are up. Because the more units that are on the field, the more killing you have to do before you actually get to the Colossi. If you can get roaches right up against the Colossi, you can target it down easy peasy, no problem. But when a Colossi can run through 4 layers of Stalkers, it gets a lot harder to just go target those down. So, in this situation, he's applying this pressure to the third because he can't do anything about the fact that there are Colossi on the way. So he's going to use what he has to deny this third. He's also getting his 4th, and he's making mutalisks, because with those, he'll be able to target down the Colossi. But beyond that, he'll be able to apply pressure. He can snipe tech. He can force the Protoss to be on 2 base, or he can even target down probes. So if he's doing all of that, he's going to force the Protoss to either move out and go all in and into some weird wonky base race, or the Protoss is going to have to spend a lot of resources and get cannons up and deal with that. Once the cannons are up, of course, he's going to need High Templar, because that requires a lot more mutas to be made, because a lot more mutas can deal with cannons, no problem. But when you've got all these mutas that are all on one hotkey, they get stuck together every time you right-click something. And of course, when that happens, Storm rapes them. So there becomes this struggle. And usually this is a 3-base Protoss struggle. 2-base Protoss is in World of Hurt. So it's almost guaranteeing that the Protoss is going to push out. I just want everyone to be on the same level while these upgrades are researching, and we've got a 4th base being established. So this is definitely a losing battle as far as establishing this third for the Zerg player. So he's just hitting with this mobile force and buying as much time as possible, so that this third is not going to get established as early as it could, which means less economy later on. This is also, of course, going to spread out the Protoss army, and, well, force fields are excellent, but you can't force field when you're being attacked on 2 ends. So here are the mutalisks coming to harass the probes a little bit. Probes get into the natural, so of course he's going to start targeting down tech. That means no blink for these Stalkers, and that is just not good for Anori. So now he can move this army down to the third, go ahead and get his nexus established, but without any kind of defense here, he's kind of in a rough situation, because this army right here probably can't beat this army right here. It'd be close, but the upgrades, it's tit for tat. It would be really, really close. But with the mutalisks there as well, it's not going to be close at all. So forcing the Protoss to split up buys a lot of time for this third, And, well, hell, what are Colossi going to do against this number of Mutalisks? He's gonna need a lot more units before he can take map presence. That's, of course, going to allow Zerg players to just make a lot of bases. He's gonna laugh as he makes more bases. And he's just targeting down this front with a huge number of roaches, huge number of Mutalisks. Of course, this is the trading part of the game, where there's less stalkers for the Colossi to hide behind, less force fields for the Colossi to hide behind. He's traded off a significant number of the roaches he had on the field, but he's still keeping these Mutalisks alive, so that's definitely critical, because if he were to trade Mutalisks, that would not be efficient. But trading roaches, that is. This goes back to Stefano's idea of maxing out on roaches at 12 minutes or so and then just trading inefficiently. The most inefficient thing about a roach is the supply count. That's also the most expensive thing. So technically you're throwing away nothing and getting something. So it's actually a really good situation. Here we have the last engagement, this Roach Ling Force just bearing down on the Protoss position. Of course, it's the DPS of the Mutalisks that really matter. This is a tanking Roach Force. Is the Stalker, is he going to target down with Stalkers? No, the Stalkers are targeting on Mutalisks, and that puts Anori in a horrible situation. He does not have Blink to get his Stalkers into a better position against anything. Colossi are finally targeting down on the Roaches, but it's not enough. TSL Anori drops the GG. And the game wraps up, guys. Hopefully you guys learned a strategic lesson here on this episode of Zergling Round-Up. If you have any questions, please throw them up in chat. I am about to tune in there now. If there are no questions there when I get there, I'll be going ahead wrapping this up. But stick around, guys, because I have 3 more casts that I'm going to be doing. They are not for any show in particular. They will be for single uploads to YouTube, as I'm trying to get more and more people interested in what I'm doing here at Clan Eat Casting with these shows and with everything that, you know, we're trying to accomplish here. So I am now in the chat room. Someone's saying audio is a bit loud, but that's an older message. Just waiting for any questions that anyone might have. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about those YouTube things that we're going to be doing. We'll be looking at some games from Nurchio, and I believe there's one more game that's non-Nurchio, but I don't remember who plays in it, but they look like really, really good games. I've not seen them yet. I am excited for casting them, though. What kind of comp specs do I have? It's been a little while since... It's been a little while since I bought this machine. It was a pre-assembled machine. It's not actually a very good machine, but I don't know the specs offhand. I'm pretty good with computers. I can build my own, in fact, but this one was like $400 for a gaming machine on sale, so I definitely went with the cheaper option. It makes life a little bit hellish if you're using full screen mode. So I'm trying to upgrade the specs a little bit, but again, money is an issue. I'm a college student, or won't be after this semester, but it's the present moment I am. I work as well, but that goes more towards feeding myself and my insulin. So as far as specs go, they're not the best in the world. If I can find some more sponsors and some more people that are willing to support the show, we've actually got a lot of donations recently, and I'm putting all that towards tech specs, saving up for a much, much better system. Hopefully we'll be able to get some. The very first thing on the list is actually to get a high-def card, high-def capture card, so that, because like someone mentioned earlier, my resolution is definitely not 720p. With the high-def card, I should be able to get 1080p, so we're just going to jump probably double the quality, hopefully. But if that's going to be all the questions, guys, hope you enjoyed this and are going to stick around for what's coming next. This is Shaft signing out.